Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dust Sleeves, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with my co-host, Linda the Gamer Girl,
What's up, Internet?
and my guest gamers, BonesZ06,
Now you're playing with power.
DanCavDragon,
How's it going, everyone?
Geeky Zombie King,
Welcome to my world.
and Bandana Gamer.
The one and only Bandana Gamer.
Correction, the one and
Ooh.
only Bandana Gamer. On to the first segment, Sleeve It or Leave It. The first game is Left Alive for PlayStation 4. We'll start with Bandana Gamer. Would you sleeve it or leave it?
Leave it.
Bones,
Leave it.
Dan,
I'm really not familiar with this game, but so I would leave it, I guess.
It's too new for me to sleeve.
Do you sleep PS4 games?
yes, I will.
Okay.
Geeky
Well, it won't
Zombie
be this
King?
one.
Leave it.
Linda,
I don't even know this game, so I would leave it.
yay! No.
What made you
Just-
choose this one, Chris? What?
What made me do? It's just something different. I was tired of doing like the same games over, like the same consoles over and over again. So I was like, you know what? Let me just throw a modern game in there.
I see.
Well, dust all over Left Alive, I say.
Apparently,
Dust.
nobody wants to play it. I guess.
I don't know what it is.
I don't think anybody does. Does anybody in here know what Left Alive is?
It's a
Nope.
PlayStation 4 game from what I've gathered.
All right, Captain Obvious. You know what? I don't even know what it is. So we're all in that boat.
I'm gonna go with there's a zombie in it.
I would assume so. Okay, next title: Banjo Tooie, Bandana Gamer. Sleeve it or leave it.
Ugh. I'd sleeve that.
Bones.
I like.
Hell yeah! I already got it sleeved. Oh!
I'm sorry, Bandana. I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I just love of Rare in that era. Kind of anything they did would get a sleeve.
Oh, a rare guy, huh?
Yeah,
Dan.
they warmed my heart.
And Dan.
Yeah, definitely sleeve. This is a solid series on N64.
Geeky.
I'll definitely sleeve it. I still have that game to this day.
Linda.
Yes.
Okay, and its counterpart, Banjo Kazooie. We'll start with Dan.
Yeah, definitely definitely sleeve this one.
Geeky.
Definitely.
Linda.
Oh, hell yeah.
Bones.
Wait a minute. Dan, you have this game?
What? Banjo? Yes.
Oh!
So he does have
damn.
N64 games.
Oh my god, okay. Well, I'm going with sleeve it. I was just really baffled there for a second. But yeah, I'm gonna go with sleeve it.
And Bandana.
Well, it goes back to what I said. So yeah, I'd sleeve.
And the last sleeve it or leave it is Donkey Kong for ColecoVision. I'm going to start with Dan. Would you sleeve it or leave it?
Well, this is actually one of my sleeves, I believe, but so obviously I would sleeve this game.
Linda?
Yes, I like this one.
Geeky?
Definitely. Donkey Kong? Hell yeah. For the ColecoVision? Oh my god, yeah.
Bandana?
I have no desire to be into collision, so no.
And Bones?
Well, I don't own a ColecoVision, but I do have Donkey Kong 2600, so yeah, I'd probably sleeve it.
It's pretty much the same thing anyway, so.
Yeah.
What?
Have you noticed the 2600 Donkey Kong? The barrel look like freaking honeycombs?
Yes, they're honeycombs.
Yeah.
No lie.
Yeah.
And the layout's way different.
Yeah, this version is superior to the 2600.
There's only like 2 levels and they keep repeating.
And only Dan would know that this is the version that's superior to the 2600.
I've actually seen the other version.
What was
Are
that?
you a
Linda?
big fan?
Sorry,
of
2600. The 2600, it's 2 levels repeated. Literally, there's enemies that don't make any sense that just run back and forth on the second level. Well, every second level, and then the first one is just honeycombs that barrel down. And there's only like 2 ladders in each one, and it's so repetitive. It's annoying.
What-
Yeah, that was a
What kills me with Donkey Kong is like they keep saying the pie factory. It's like how you consider that a pie factory, and everything you said is building of of a building. That's supposed to be the cement. So it's a cement factory. We come with pie. Where they come with the pie from?
I have no idea. I don't
mean,
even.
if you
There's no
think
clue
about
on what they did.
Everybody keeps thinking that it's a pie factory, and like everything you watch, each board that goes by has something to do with buildings, and that's part of the building is cement. That's the next part after the framing.
It's a under construction pie factory, but to complete the building, they had to phase. I like gaming narrative, so I'm just going to make up.
You would do so well, Bandana, to write on the back of people's descriptions. That would be funny.
And on this game, this is how we go.
Donkey Kong 2600, the movie. I'm working on the script right now.
Oh my word, that'd be hilarious.
Hey,
Oh, man.
Dan, what did you have to say?
I forgot. No, I think I was gonna say that. I've been waiting. I always wanted the ultimate version of Donkey Kong. I think it's never seemed to get that right on any system. Something was always missing from Donkey Kong every time they brought a version of it out.
That's true.
From the arcade you're
Yeah.
talking, Dan?
Yeah, from the arcade. I was a big fan of the arcade game. They could never. And what Linda was saying, yeah, it was so disappointing to see the Atari version.
Oh my
Um,
god.
The Coleco was pretty close, but it was still missing that pie factory, whatever you call it. But it wasn't until like NES they actually got it right. Is that right? And then
Yeah,
And then-
NES was the closest one.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then it was out of order. It wasn't like the right sequence of
It was
levels.
off.
Yeah. So I was just always pissed off at like any version of Donkey Kong that ever came out.
That's true.
Buy the arcade cabinet, Dan, and you won't have any damn problems.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget it. Just put it on your
Well, no,
cabinet.
that's
You already
what
have
they need to
one.
make next is the 1-Up Arcade is that one.
Yeah, I'll
Oh
probably
my
buy that
God.
if they came out with that because
That definitely gotta come out. Definitely.
Okay, next segment is logo sleeve of the month, and this month it goes to Bandana Gamer.
Congrats.
Whoop whoop.
I want to thank the Academy for this achievement.
Sorry, you're
Is
off
this
the
like
stage.
is this
sir.
like the PS4 achievement unlocked?
Exactly.
There is a meme going around where they're like, if you ever have an issue, hide all your stuff in different places so that they get the achievement for finding all your stuff.
Anyway,
I was like, that is so funny.
Bandana Gamer's
Yes.
sleeves are for sale. Proceeds will go to his channel. So please purchase.
Nice.
If I might say so, they are amazing. I have one that I'm looking at in my hand right now. The quality is amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
No, I appreciate you, man. Like, this made my day. Like, I teared up when I opened up the box when I got my first order.
I love getting orders of dust sleeves in the mail.
And honestly, Bones, he's going to be a big supporter of this logo sleeve whole in a whole. He's buying gradually. He's going to buy every logo sleeve I made. So that's one guy that will support every YouTube channel eventually. So
Nice.
Well, Bones, thank you in advance, sir.
Yeah, I plan on getting them all eventually too, man.
And honestly, when somebody does purchase one of these sleeves, the PayPal that comes from me and goes to you, there's always going to be a message there saying who purchased your sleeve. So if you want to thank them, you can definitely do that. You just, most of these people are on all social media, and if they're not, you can just go to their YouTube channel and just, thank them in the comment section.
That's good. I like that.
Okay, on to the next segment, which is guess that box art. Who would like to start?
Can we get a system for this one? Because I'm
Yes,
way, I
yes.
don't know.
Yes, I can give you a system. But who would like to start? I'll let you guys figure that out. Who would like to start?
All right, it looks super PlayStation 3 to me for some, but I could be wrong.
All right, so that one is actually an NES title.
I am super wrong.
Wow, that's why I said I'm way off.
That's an NES
Really,
title.
an
Yes,
NES
sir.
title.
That is an
Curveball
NES
right
title.
there.
What was that, Geeky?
That threw a curveball right there to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I didn't even think
I'm
that.
saying, I
yeah.
was thinking like
Is that a Wisdom Tree game?
Genesis.
Yeah, exactly.
Apple
I
version?
don't think that's a Wisdom Tree game unless Noah
What?
got really creepy looking.
No, that is not a
Look,
Wisdom Tree game.
Okay.
No.
Oh my god, dude.
All right, so I'm going to start with Dan.
Yeah, I know the second one for sure, but this one, I don't know this one.
Yeah, same thing for me. I know the second one.
But I'm gonna guess because it looks like Logan. I'm gonna say it's Wolverine.
You know, I thought the same thing. I was thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see his claws. I'm like, maybe before it popped out.
No, it's not Wolverine.
I don't think I'm interpreting this right.
I know what almost all of them look like, and it's just that literally is stumping me. Like, I can't think of any of the artwork that has an old, creepy looking dude on it. You don't want to go with the
Yeah, unless it's like a
one.
Castlevania game, because they have some creepy people on there.
Well, I was thinking it was like a Dungeons and Dragons, but that's definitely not one.
His clothing looks too updated.
Dude, I don't know. It's not a Back to the Future, I can tell you that right now. I don't know, man. How about a
You can
Bard's
eliminate a lot
Tale,
of games.
maybe? I'm trying to
All
pick
right,
oddball.
so it's an SNK game.
SNK game.
Hey,
Oh, Jesus.
shoot.
Final fight?
No.
Hmm.
It was actually
World of Heroes?
How
no.
about Bill and Ted?
No. It was
I thought maybe it
actually
was somebody hiding in the telephone booth. I
You know what?
don't know.
Is it a war game? Is it a war game?
it is a war game.
Okay.
What they had Gorilla,
Wolfenstein?
what was that game? There was
That you're talking about
What?
the guerrilla war.
There it
warfare or
is.
something.
That's it. Guerrilla War.
What?
Huh.
Guerrilla
All
War.
right, Linda. Linda got it! Ding, 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 ding!
You were the winner.
Wah, 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 wah.
took me a minute after I figured out like you said SNK. I was like, it looks like somebody's hurting, like he's in pain. And
you
only
know what
war
the
games
fuck-
had in pain people.
I think all our brains were in pain at this moment trying to figure
I
it
know
out.
I was in pain.
Dude, I just had
I
that
used a lot of
game
brain
in.
cells for that.
You just had the
And
game
I
in
don't
for
remember
real.
the cover looking like that.
Because he
don't-
took part of the cover that's not going to have anything related to war except for the pain and anguish of
Well,
being
the game
shot
pissed
at.
me off, so I don't remember.
I think I played it once. That was it.
I played it recently. It was one of the random games I grabbed. I also played Darkman. You want to talk about a shit game?
Oh my god, I remember that game.
Yeah, you slide on ice like everywhere. The only thing cool about it is you can crawl up walls and crap, but you're just all over the place.
Dark man. Wow.
So the next title or the next guess that box art is who would like to start? And I know you said
You know what it is.
Linda,
I already
you
know what it is, so
Dan,
don't.
you know what it
Yeah,
is?
I know what this is.
Bones, you know what it is?
Nope.
Bandana Gamer, you know what it is?
I can tell you what series it's from.
That's where I'm at too.
And I can tell you it definitely looked older.
Um,
It
It's
definitely
not
does
Super
not.
Mario
It looks
World. It's
free.
not Super Mario Land.
Yeah.
It's not 1, 2, or 3. It's not Mario is missing. I
Is
know
this-
that.
Is this Famicom?
no, it's not. Geeky, do you know what it is?
Oh, I know it's a Mario game. I don't know which one.
Okay, well
Let
let's
them
start
guess
with
then.
Bones.
Jeez. I'm just gonna say Super Mario Kart just to be.
What? That's not. No, come on.
No.
Honestly, I don't know. That the blue in the background doesn't make any sense to me for what I'm looking at.
Bandana Gamer, you got to guess.
I'm going with one of the Game Boy ones. I'm going to say, except that's not in there. Super Mario Land. Super Mario Land.
No. Geeky Zombie, you
Yeah.
got to guess.
Lost Levels?
No. You got anybody want to take another stab at it?
Oh.
Linda's raising her hand right now.
You know what? Let's let Dan have this one.
Hold
I
on.
keep guessing.
Let me
Dan
give
have
them
that one.
the console first.
Well, once you
okay.
have the console, it's a giveaway.
I know. The minute you say it's gonna be right.
It's very obvious.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
Alright.
not necessarily.
All right, go for it.
Virtual Boy.
Oh.
The only one I remember from that is the tennis of Mario.
That is not it.
Yeah,
There's a couple titles with Mario. Keep trying, guys.
Is that the Mario Brothers? Like the Mario Brother, like not Super Mario Brothers, but the regular Mario Brothers. Virtual Boy.
No.
Okay.
Hotel Mario.
Only if that was a game.
I was just stuck on stupid when he says that. I'm like, word? Really?
Well, I'm throwing out CDI games there, you know.
Yes.
I don't
When
know
you
what's
say
wrong
Hotel
with
Mario, I
Virtual Boy.
instantly know.
Oh my god, I can't even think of it. That's ready for virtual.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, go ahead.
It is Mario Clash.
Yes.
Which Bandana Gamer was kind of on the right track. It is kind of a regular Mario Brothers.
It does
type
look like
game.
Super Mario Land if you do kind of look at it the side.
Yeah,
There's
it does.
The enemy coming at him like that kind of looks like Super Mario Land.
And that one really threw me off. For sure.
Yeah.
If you guys scroll
The
down,
reason why I know what it is because I have the Virtual Boy book and I was looking at the covers recently.
if you guys scroll down, you'll see Guerrilla War, the box art, so you can see what it actually looks like.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, okay. I see it.
That is really a good art cover, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's way better than that. clip
There's
I
the
just saw.
anguish guy right there.
Yep, all the way on the left.
That's Logan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Logan would not be
man.
in anguish.
Yeah, he would play in that fucking game.
Get me off of this cover. Oh, this game
Yeah, the end of the
sucks.
first level is so stupid. You got to fight this asshole, and then he jumps into a damn chopper, and it's just fucking stupid.
Way to go, SNK.
Sorry if I spoiled it for any of you guys out there that wanted to try it.
Not
So what you're
really, I mean,
saying
you still have
is
to deal
don't
with the
try it?
crap.
Is that what you're saying, Bones? Is that what you're saying? What you're saying is do not try it?
It's like playing Akari Warriors, pretty much. It's on the
Oh
same.
my god,
same
I
level.
love that game.
Well, then you want to pick up Guerrilla War.
Yeah, pick up
I
Guerrilla War.
remember the buttons to always survive. You gotta press A B B B A. You gotta keep pressing that crazy. You keep coming back alive. A lot of people don't even aware about that.
Really?
Yeah, A B B B A. You
Fair.
die, you
I'll-
press those buttons quick, you come back in and then again.
No
That's right.
way.
I remember
That is
that.
so
yeah.
cool. My
Okay.
retro probably know.
Well,
Leave
if
this
I'm
on there.
correct, in Guerrilla War, they don't have anything like that. It's just unlimited continue. So you just keep going. And
Oh,
going
okay. So
and
it's so
going.
hard they like screw it. We're just
Okay.
gonna give you unlimited.
Yeah.
continue. Gotcha.
Because I died a shitload when he got into the helicopter, and it just never seemed to end. I literally just got pissed off and turned it off.
Until the game GD came out. You was invincible.
Yeah.
What bullets?
Bullets? That ain't got
My
nothing on
game
me.
genies are
Bouncing off
currently
like
holding dust
little
sleeves.
freaking Tic Tac pellets. They ain't doing nothing to me.
Essentially making the character walk. So that is Logan on the couch.
See, what I told
Back to Logan again, huh?
you, times were hard, man. That's before he got famous.
Yeah.
That's before the claws came out.
Before Alpha Flight came knocking, really, really slumming it those days.
After that war, you could get claws.
Game was so bad he signed with LJN.
Damn it! Where's my claws?
My goodness. That title, I remember every title that came out with that company was bad. Bad.
Shh, we don't say bad around here.
It was good.
It didn't work for me.
I hope Captain didn't hear that.
Oh, I know. He freaking loves all of them.
He's a big fan of that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know how you can like Beetlejuice, but he likes all the LJN games.
He'll play them all the time.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
I don't feel satisfied after playing one of those games, I can tell you that.
I mean, they were kind of rushed, and maybe some money was spent on the license. But,
Maybe some money was put in their pocket.
That too.
Well, I mean, Rare made a few of their games. I can't remember which ones, but I was involved with LJN. So they can't be all bad. I mean, I'm trying. I have my LJN set.
He's trying to help you out, Captain.
I got your back, buddy.
They made a good game from LJN. It was one of the Spider-Man games. I don't remember if it's Maximum Carnage or the other one. Separation Anxiety. One of those two is really good.
So by that time, they were Acclaim. They had been bought by Acclaim. So yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Their record was kind of still unbroken by that.
All right, now this is the time in the podcast where we're going to get to know more about Bandana Gamer, the one and only.
Bandana Gamer. John Brown, the one and only Bandana Gamer.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part, huh? John Brown, the one and
It's
only.
on the
Bandana Gamer.
it's on the sleeve.
It is on the sleeve. I know that. I remember. I put it there. All right, so yeah, go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so I wear cloth on my head and I play video games. So that's kind of just the origin. That's all there is. But no, so seriously.
And that was it. Mic drop.
Yeah. I was into video games as a child. I think the system I started off was NES. The system I fell in love with was SNES. And then I kind of just progressed and then got to college and I stopped playing. And I came back to it in my late 20s, early. And so I'm just gonna tell this story. I've been kind of waiting for the right place to kind of give the origin of the bandana.
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, so it's kind of a heavier story than I realized. So I was in grad school at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. And I thank you. And I lived with a buddy of mine named Matt, and Matt and I had known each other from undergrad. We were in a fraternity together, but it's not what you think of when you think of fraternity. This was a bunch of guys in tie-dye whose symbol was the mushroom, and a lot of Fish and Grateful Dead concerts.
Rock on.
So we knew each other. I was finishing up his undergrad at the university. We lived together. We didn't know each other before we lived together. Became really good friends. Became best friends even. And we were just really good friends. And flash forward a couple years, and I moved out and moved on. Was working, and Matt got cancer, really rare cancer, and he was the oldest person to ever have contracted this cancer at 26. And so, you know, keeping in touch, occasionally spending nights at the hospital with him. And as this is going on, we're talking about what all is going on in our lives, and I found out he's retro video game. He's really into Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64. Those are the systems. And so we're about to go in for a chemo session, and I discovered that I think I was watching IGN, and IGN used to do this segment like crazy, cool, and super expensive or something, but they did 3 items, and I learned about the Hyperkin Superboy. And I was like, oh, cool. That's a cool thing. And so I went to a local video game store, a play and trade. I think the last play and trade, because when that company went under, they were all franchised, and the owner kept the name Play and Trade kind of illegally. But I went to pick him up one, and I kind of like and picked up a Superboy, but also picked up one for myself. And so we played Super Nintendo game in the hospital. And so that's kind of was my gateway into playing, getting into retro games. And then flash forward, I started, kept with the hobby. The hobby has grown, taken over an entire room of my house. And I started watching a lot of YouTube videos. And I was like, that's really cool. And I have opinions on like seeing unboxing and stuff like that. I was like, I could do it. And I'm kind of a guy who, when there's something I want to try, I try it. I might not do it for a while, but I'll always worked professional wrestling matches just because I wanted to know what it was like to be a professional. And so watching that, and I finally was like, okay, I want to try YouTube. I want to try making video game videos on YouTube. And I picked Bandana because my boy Matt, who at that time had died, always wore bandanas. And bandanas were a huge for him. Even at his funeral, we all wore bandanas. I still remember mine up, laying it on his urn, or what we used as an urn. That's another story. But I was like, I want to have a way to have him with me on this next phase of my video game journey. So I had a couple of his bandanas, and I decided to become the bandana on my YouTube videos as a tribute to the guy who got me into retro video game collecting. That's a little bit about that.
That's pretty awesome.
Nice.
And appreciate it. My channel. Started with video game months, and that led me into this amazing community of amazing YouTube people. Nothing but nice to me. I have nothing but great experiences with a lot of people that I'm talking to right now on this. And I've done some unboxings, some reviews. Currently working on Disney did this series of collectible pins, kind of celebrating their 8-bit and 16-bit video game heritage. So I'm doing reviews of those pins, looking at the games that inspired.
Oh, really? They did pins for their retro games?
Yeah, they did about. This was last year for about 12, or every month last year they did a different pin. Kind of, they were called Kingdom console pins.
Nice.
I've done the Little Mermaid video, the Jungle Book video, and I think Goof Troop is up next. So
I'm gonna have to check them out. I didn't even realize they even came out with pins for that.
Yeah, they snuck them out. They're really cool. I found them because I was looking at Dark Duck stuff. So
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, so that's kind of me in a nutshell.
All right, so anybody have any questions for Bandana Gamer?
One thing I could say I could relate to bandana because I rock a bandana. I've been rocking a bandana since 2002, and the reason why, since for that long, because I've been big thing about Sinbad the Sailor. When I was a kid, I watched the Seven Seas and all this stuff, and I just love that image. I don't know, something about the bandanas.
Yeah.
You know. And from then on, it's been my trademark. Like everybody that I know in the neighborhood, they spot me from they start calling me out. And yeah, I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see photos of me and in my bandana. It's like, I don't know, it's like a big thing for like second skin to me.
Yeah, I've had that. I grew my hair out my last year in my last round of grad school, and bandanas were what I wore for that as well. Just people come to identify you with that. It's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, definitely is.
Not many people wear them nowadays. Like, it's rare to see people wearing a bandana.
Well,
let's say you think it's a biker, but it's not a biker.
it takes classy guys to pull them
off. That's why, like, you know what? I'm taking geekiness to another level.
Yeah, you are. Any other questions, anybody? Dan?
Yeah, sure. Can I ask you what you said you were in grad school? What did you study in grad school?
So I've done grad school twice now because I just love it so much. The first time I was at the University of Georgia, I was doing religious studies and focused on the New Testament, and did my thesis work on kind of narrative critiques, kind of using literary tools to analyze the text. And I did a minor in religion and literature, which was looking at various comic books and seeing how various religious put themselves out there. Published an article on the mythic role of Robin in Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. And then my second round of grad school was at Emory University in Georgia, which was part of Candler School of Theology seminary, studying to possibly be a pastor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So, is that something you're going to pursue, you think, in the future?
There's a huge maybe on that right now. I don't want to... It's kind of they say political thing, kind of a human right. I'm United Methodist, and we are going through a huge fight right now over acceptance of LGBTQIA people. And the church has kind of steered in some directions I'm comfortable with. It's kind of I think everyone's entitled to be in church and have everything in the church. And it kind of depends on if the UMC goes, if they fix some of those problems. Man, I just made this stuff way too heavy.
No, it's all good. But, nope,
well, I mean,
it's fine.
Your story is really cool. I just want to point out that as my job in real life is, I am a researcher, a cancer researcher. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's cool that you tell that story. I think it's really compelling. So it's awesome.
Well, and thank you to what you guys did.
Yeah. But and also just to get back things on video gaming, I also have the Hyperkin Superboy, and I think it's a really good system too. So that's a great way to play your SNES on the go.
Yeah, it's a great intro. As I now look at this office where I'm surrounded by like at least 1,000 games and controllers and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, we're there with you. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
What's your favorite console?
Oh, favorite console? It's generally a tie for me between the SNES. I think I have the most nostalgia to that, and there's just a brilliant library in that, and then the Sega Dreamcast. Those Sega Dreamcast was so ahead of its time.
You're
And
correct
so-
on that.
That's true.
Such
Very true.
an amazing system game wise for the limited library. I'm launching with Soul Calibur, and just the shadow effects on Soul Calibur blew my mind. I cannot think of any other system that has blown my mind graphically the way that did, and then the online and everything else that went with it. So yeah, those are my two favorites. Modern wise, I'm an Xbox One guy over PS4, but I do a lot of Switch stuff on my channel because Switch is basically the retro modern console
Yeah,
in so many ways, in my opinion.
it is.
He's also got his wifey, man.
Yeah,
She is
we've
badass on Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man.
yes, she won a tournament, or no, she took second place. We're training.
Wow.
My wife and we're going to do a video here in a little bit. We've got a
Yay! Finally.
we've got a family competition going on of who can beat the most games in 2020. I'm currently winning, but she was winning a good long time. And she's an awesome person. She's a PhD in ecology and evolution and focused on bats. So she's awesome.
Nice.
Wait for that video.
Yeah, we've actually started.
I want to check that out also.
Yeah, we've also been talking about the 2 players 1 controller game.
Yeah, I want to see that too. Like, I want to see you guys play a game.
We've been trying to pick a game. I was like, hey, let's just do Miss Pac-Man, and I'll just hold the button side, and you do everything else. Play the game.
You know what a good game for you guys to try? Popeye.
Popeye.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Why is that
Because
hard?
it does
Front of
take
that.
having one person hold the buttons and then the D-pad, so you guys can alternate and take turns and see who's better at the moving him up and down.
Nice. I like that.
That's her style of video game. I can already know that she's gonna make some.
Well, Linda has gone through how many D-pads on the controllers?
Oh, too far. Too many. Too many.
So, what's your take on digital versus physical?
Personally, I enjoy physical. When I can't play a game, at least I like to. But I'm not anti-digital, especially right now as we look at maybe being quarantined for. It'd be nice to maybe get access to games really easy. But I have to appreciate digital because of what it's done for the smaller developers.
Right.
Digital has given them a way to compete. We've seen such a renaissance of retro styles because of digital and smaller studios being able to. Yeah, I prefer physical, but I ain't.
Yeah, most of us in here prefer physical over digital.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
But that's an interesting take with the indie developer side. I hadn't really thought about that, but that's totally true. I can see that being
for sure.
much more feasible for them.
It's an easier way for them to develop and get the game out without paying, really, because they're just releasing the physical license. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, real easy. They're not developing a game per se,
That's
like
the
an
best
actual
part
physical.
about being an indie for that platform like that, just do digital.
Yeah.
And then if it gets to the point where they make enough money off that digital, it might come physical later.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and high demands that definitely won't happen. Definitely will happen.
Yep.
One of the smaller publishers comes up, scoops it up for a physical. So
Yep.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is your type of game that you go to the most?
oof. What is the type of game I go to the most? I know my guilty pleasure game that I play often if I can't pick anything is Windjammers on the Switch right now. But I think I'm usually a pretty big RPG fan.
Nice.
So
Well, you got a nice Power Ranger collection, so
Yes.
platformer maybe too.
yeah,
I'm actually kind of surprised you didn't say Power Rangers.
I love the Power Ranger fighting, especially. Love
Yeah.
those. The Sega Genesis and the fighting edition on the SNES.
64 one.
Was the N64 one a fighting game or just a?
Wow.
That was Time Force, right? Time
I think that
Force.
was-
You
and,
run around in it, and
It was Lightspeed Rescue. It was.
Yeah,
it's-
there was a couple that made it on
horrible.
there.
As the show dipped in popularity, the games kind of dipped in quality. I think when THQ picked up the license, kind of.
Well, that was at the time when they gave it to Nickelodeon and a whole bunch of other
Yeah.
stuff that was going on.
Yeah, but yeah, Power Rangers Fighting Edition, where you on the SNES, is such a brilliant fighting game. So pretty too.
Do you ever plan on getting a full set of anything? I know I've watched a lot of your Video Games Monthly unboxings. Do you have any plans or goals to ever complete a set?
I am working on a Wii U set. I'm not. It mainly the bigger, the old, like the Super Nintendo, which has I would defer to y'all on how many games console actually has. I just know I don't have the space for it. But Wii U seems doable and manageable because I think it's right around 50, and I've got about
It's about
7.
that amount.
Yeah, I've got 70 already, so I'm just kind of plugging away at that right now. In terms of full setting, just picked up the Sonic Lost World and Sonic Boom 2.
Yeah, there's another YouTuber who's doing a full set of Wii U right now. The Wii U Quest.
Yeah,
That's Universe
Universal
Retro.
So
Actually,
he
just did a
actually has
sleeper.
the number. So if you go watch his video, you'll know exact number right now.
okay.
Yeah, I just did a
Um,
sleeve for him not too long ago. Universe Retro.
Nice.
How many
Universal
games
Retro.
Wii U came out with?
What was that, Geeky Zombie?
How many games did the Wii U came out in the complete library?
It's
Wii U?
yeah, it's between
Like around 160 something, I think.
on the North American side. It's
That's not
Or-
if you're counting like imports or anything like that.
it's 150, 160. It's not. It is not a lot, and a lot of them are fairly cheap at this point.
That's dance games.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what the holy grails for that system is?
Hello
I don't
Kitty.
even know.
Patam.
Some obscure games that didn't sell
Hello
well.
Kitty.
Barbie.
Hello
Kart Racing
Kitty
is one
was-
of them.
But they re-released it when they released the Switch.
But the thing is, no, but it's for the Wii U is still popular to get because it's one of those ones that didn't sell well, so it's like very few copies are floating around.
yeah, but when they did the Switch, they did a second print, so it dropped in price. Devil's Third is the big one price I've seen, right? Which is some brawling game.
Well, it's also the collector's editions are the ones that are hard
Yeah.
to find too, and
Yeah, there's a Zelda
because they
game.
had some big
that's-
box collectors in, yeah.
Yeah, one of the
then,
Hyrule Warriors is super expensive.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, like Mario Kart 8 was one of them that had a big box. Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Another, I can't remember the other Zelda one, but there's like 2 Zelda ones.
I'm
Another
just
one
going-
is Mario and Sonic Rio,
Yeah,
2016.
that got up
Wii
there.
Sports Club is actually hard to find because it was digital first, and then it became a physical copy.
Yeah,
Oh, Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is hard to find.
yeah, with the Bayonetta 1 disc.
Yeah.
Is that considered like one of the weakest Nintendo's ever came out consoles ever came out
Well,
with?
the reason why is
Virtual
because
Boy.
it was unheard of. Like nobody knew what it was. They were not understanding. They thought it was just like another add-on to the Wii. They didn't realize it was actually a completely
Mm.
different system.
Okay.
It was
It's confusing people. Like
Yeah.
the normal gamer didn't bother to worry about it and pick it up because it was also the pad was confusing people too. Like I have to
Yeah.
look down then up, then I have to look down and up. What are you talking about?
yeah. It was marketed terribly.
Yeah.
Uh,
The commercials were so bad.
yeah, like not. Yeah,
It's a really underrated console, though.
yeah. There
Yeah.
are some really good games. Nintendo put out. Nintendo always puts out some. Publishes some really great stuff, but they really publish games. Wii U. So
Pretty much you can find all the Wii U games on the Switch as we speak are probably gonna get ported.
yeah, I'm expecting Super
They
Mario.
already have
3D.
ported a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, there's gonna be a few more because there's still like a couple of them that were really popular that people are asking for.
Yeah, I can't believe 3D.
I was surprised too.
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong got ported.
Yep.
That one, yeah.
Uh,
That one
Yo-
took a little bit of time, but it did.
Yoshi got ported to 3DS. Captain Toad got ported.
Yep.
What I
Sure.
never understood is why they never took the original arcade games that used to be in the cabinet and put them on a disc, like they do with a lot of retro games. I'll be so happy if they
Well,
could
because they don't have the
game.
licensing for some of them, I think, like certain stuff. They would have to change it because there's certain like music and like stuff that are.
the soundtrack.
Because that's
and
always a
everything.
hard thing with yeah, it's always hard with an older game to re-release it because you have to go through all the licensing and fix everything, or if you can't get it, you have to change all the stuff to fix it to bring it back as the original console to the new system every time. So that's why there's a lot of like censorship and editing in many games. Like if you look at a lot of the games that had like guns back in the day,
Right.
or like crude humor or humor that was for that time that now is not politically correct, they have to change that.
Mm.
So just a lot of stuff to think about before they can finally say. And then also, is it going to be too much money? That's another thing they always think about. Like, is that going to be too much money to change it, to put it on this system?
To re-edit all that.
Yeah, to fix it. So that's probably why not every single one is being back on there.
So if you have a PC, you can play those on what do you call that, the mains?
Well, it depends on what you have. So if you are playing the old systems, you can find an emulator for that specific system, or you can do a MAME. DOSBox, there is an emulator for PS2. Not every game works on it though. For all these
Okay.
emulators, so, like you'll find a couple emulator ROMs that are like really not working.
Any more questions for Bandana Gamer? Anybody?
I got one.
Go
What's the game you have in your console at this moment that is still loaded in?
Which console?
Xbox.
Xbox. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's. I was looking at Goof Troop in the Super.
Hey, you got Goof Troop in the Super Nintendo, you said?
Yeah. Video Games Monthly did me a nice Disney box this
Nice.
previous month. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
got Goof Troop in the SNES, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom in the NES.
Yeah, you got to give props for Disney from a lot of those retro games that came out with the NES and Super NES time.
Shoot.
Had a lot of good titles.
Give credit to Capcom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Capcom put some serious people in Mega Man. Oh.
Dan, you have questions?
What's the oldest console that you own?
Probably a 2600.
Nice.
Or my
The junior, or is it the fat?
it's the wood panel fat guy.
Ooh, nice.
That's
Yeah.
the black
That's actually
Is that the Heavy Sixer, or is it just the 4?
that I have no idea.
If you
That
look
one I
on the
got-
front, it's the switches, how many switches there are.
I am not in the room where that's at.
All good.
okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so that's actually, I'm blessed to have married an old woman, and so that was something I got her birthday. So I really should say it's my wife's, but it's all ours together.
Hey, it's still technically part of the family.
Exactly.
Do you have any like accessories that you really like to use, like the flight joysticks or anything along those lines?
In terms of accessories, I really like the fishing rod for the Sega Dreamcast, and then I really like Retro Fighters third party N64 controllers that they've just put out.
Yeah, they're good.
Because I'm not a huge 64 fan, but I really like their their controllers fix a lot of the N64 controllers' problem, in my humble opinion.
So, I second that opinion.
So yeah, that the N64 controller, I could not a huge fit. I cannot stand. So, but yeah, that's my favorite accessories. Don't do a lot of, not a power glove guy, that's for sure.
Well, you're not missing anything there either.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
put a lot of time into that.
Wait,
The messed up thing with the power glove is, everybody, the wires on the sensor bars are extremely hard grade wire. And because it's so many years old, they're starting to become very brittle. So even though I have a power glove, I don't want to take it out of the box ever again because the wires are permanently crimped in a certain way. And to hang it on the TV, you're bending them back out of the way they are, and they're going to end up snapping because it's just getting that old. So if I ever do decide to use one again, I'll probably end up buying one that's loose. And since I'm an electrician now, what the hell, I might as well just replace the wiring on it, maybe just secure it permanently to the TV. But that's one of those accessories that, unfortunately, I think the more you go to try to use it, even as just a novelty, you're going to end up breaking it.
Yeah. It took them a while to get motion controls down.
But they finally did it.
Yeah. Would you count the OSSC as a...
Say that again?
Would you count the OSSC, the open source scanline converter? It's a SCART line doubler.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's a great accessory. So
I have a question. Given your theology background, have you ever played any of those Bible games for the NES?
He has them all.
Oh, do you?
We were talking about that the other day. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have the Wisdom Tree collection that was released on Kickstarter.
yeah.
Ah.
I do have those, and I have a few. I don't have all. I have the Kickstarter cartridge. I have a few of the original. I have them just mainly out of novelty's sake. Just the fact, like, these are the ones that got by. Like, Nintendo would not mess with Wisdom Tree because of the fact they weren't selling them in major retailers. They were going to market that would just look really bad to go after legally. And I do have a complete collection of Stone Age Gamer was selling Wisdom Tree shirts, and I bought those for kicks. So I bought all the Wisdom Tree t-shirts.
Did you play Sunday Fun Day again?
I tried.
Level 9 is annoying. It's so annoying.
I found earlier levels to also and decided not to play anymore. But,
level 9, when you get up to level 9, try to get up to level 9. You literally are being bounced around ridiculously for no reason, and I rage quit after level 9.
That sounds actually like my experience after seminary. But yeah, I will say the Three Wise Men game where you're riding on camels and like the camels spit as the projectile, so you're trying to get to the Christ trial. That is a hilarious game. And actually works so well. I cannot believe it.
There's so many fun games like that.
Yeah. So
I don't know how many I have of them. I don't play them, so that's why I don't.
Here's the thing, though. What they say and how they do stuff is really funny to me. Like,
oh yeah,
when you play Sunday Fun Day, you're a kid on a skateboard trying to get to Sunday school, and the teacher keeps telling you, "You're gonna miss Sunday school. Get your butt over here." And then you have bullies and random creatures with balloons that are trying to shoot balloons at you, and then you have big creatures, and you're like, it makes no sense. And then when they pass away, there are ghosts. I'm like, what?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing them with my theology background is kind of like being a part of a Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode. I'm playing them but I'm mocking them relentless.
Yeah. There's so many bad things in there that's hilarious to watch.
Honestly, out of most of those games, I have a hard time to even get them to play. They a lot of the time don't want to play. The screen just doesn't come on, and they have these weird rules on the backs of them about letting the screen flash like 10 times or something stupid on some of them, and I'm like, that doesn't work either.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were because the materials they used were not as good because they couldn't get Nintendo to like give them like the stuff that they needed.
Yeah,
Oh, I can imagine.
they were.
And now the Wisdom Tree Collection is a lot better. It does play. Like there's certain games that don't work for me, but most of them play like 8 or 7 out of the games play. The rest the other 2 don't work.
Yeah, that they were crafty. I mean, they were not working with the NES and SNES security. I really was impressed with how they got around that, which was making a cartridge where you had to stick a legitimate SNES cartridge on top of it so it would route through that security chip but play the game on the Wisdom Tree cartridge. They were crafty.
Inventive. Yeah, they were inventive.
Do you have Super Noah's Ark?
Not in that, not physically in the collection. I have a digital copy somewhere,
I got it on my RetroPie.
but yeah. But I've
That one's funny too. That's Doom on.
yeah, they licensed out the Wolfenstein to make
Well,
a.
like, it literally is. It's Wolfenstein and Doom. If you ever played Doom or Wolfenstein, you are gonna laugh because you're literally keeping the animals from being angry.
Yeah,
You
And
give
you're-
them food. You shoot food at them so they'll go to sleep. You
With
have
a
to maintain
slingshot.
this ship.
yeah,
Yeah, the ship the whole time.
It's just reskinned. It's just reskinned. I mean, of all the things they licensed, that is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's on my wish list to get.
So funny to have.
Yeah,
Never played that one. Wow.
Gotta play it. You can find it as a ROM. Somebody
Yeah.
dumped the ROM and just like download it onto a RetroPie or even your PC. If you have a decent PC, you could get an emulator and play it.
We don't do that here in this group of
Come on.
people.
it is
the thing is,
officially
and it's-
released on Steam. Wink, wink.
Screw that
Yeah.
emulation crap.
The thing is it's so hard to find physically now because they only made so many copies.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
only
it's not cheap.
unlicensed. It was the only unlicensed SNES game to make it out, if I remember correctly.
They
its
couldn't have
time.
done any better.
Go God!
Any other questions for Bandana Gamer?
No, I think I'm good on that.
Dan,
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
Geeky, Linda?
You want to talk about your wrestling? What your persona was?
Uh, sure.
Oh boy, here we go.
So, guess what? It ties into theology. I was the so when I did very small thing. I only worked 5 shows. It was very much like I just wanted to try my hand at it. But the persona I did in those shows was Reverend John Beeman from Westboro, Kansas. And I would show up at the shows protesting wrestling. I'd have signs that said "God hates wrestling," "End is near," stuff like that, and then they would put me into a wrestling match. And there are 2 highlights from my quote unquote career. The first being is we were doing a show, and there was a camera crew kind of doing a spotlight on the wrestling promotion I was working with, but it was from a Christian news station, and so they found out I was there, and they really wanted to talk to me. And I'm kind of going like, I'm a bad guy in this persona. Yeah, about it, and why I had chosen to do that. I don't really like, Christianity viewed through the lens of those in Westboro Baptist. And so I'm like, I'm trying to be the bad guy and show you they're the guy. Flash forward a few months later, I get this Christian news thing would be on rotation on their station for several times. And I got a message from the promoter, and he was laughing hysterically. And he's like, hey, so they had to pull the episode of this news show we were on, rotation. And I'm like, why is that? Your character offended too many people. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, I'm so sorry, because, promotion for them at least. Oh, no, we didn't care. We just found it hilarious that I was working as a youth pastor at the time. The youth pastor is the one that got us kicked off television. So that was one of the big feathers in my cap. And then the last feather in my cap, the last show I ever wrestled, Jake the Snake Roberts was in the audience. And if you know wrestling, Jake the Snake is a big deal. And I got done with my match, got my gear off. He was out doing an autograph table and stuff. And I, went into my Clark Kent persona. I was trying to sneak out, but I'm like, I have to talk. And I went up to him. I'm like, hey, sir, I was like, how are you doing? He's like, oh, you were up there a bit ago. I was like, yes, sir. He's like, and I was like, well, what'd you think of the match? And he's like, well, I laughed my ass off, kid. And I was like, and it was a comedy match, so I appreciated that. Like, desired response. I was like, hey, can I get a picture? And his daughter was like running the cash thing for his merch booth. She's like, we're charging $20 for those. And he's like, no, he's in the family. He gets his free. And Jake the Snake put his arm around me, and he took a picture with me, and I'm like, and I'm done. I don't ever have to do this again. I have accomplished everything I sought out to do.
That's so cool.
So yeah, that's that's how my theology ties into wrestling. And just to keep it video game, Aki's and THQ put out the best wrestling games, and they're the best wrestling games on any console.
Oh, snap.
So, yeah. So that's me and all my... Well, that's a little bit of me in my wondrous glory.
Your bandana glory. Get it, man. Get it.
My bandana glory.
Bandana, baby.
I need a bandana halo. That's the next thing I'm working on.
You should do some merch as bandanas.
That's coming as I continue to build. So, a lot of this just having fun with YouTube. First, wanted to start with some amazing dust, then see what else comes along the way.
Nice.
Any other questions? Anybody? Statements, comments?
So, have you been collecting wrestling games from how long?
I've got my N6. I've gone back and gotten a few as I started. Pretty sure VGM has sent me a couple. There's not a lot that other than those N64 ones that I really appreciate. LJN, putting a wrestling game on the NES, obnoxious and not really feasible. It's not really there.
What was the best ones on the N64? Was WCW?
There's a lot on the N64.
So the lineage of what I consider to be the best, which was the ones developed hockey, is WCW versus NWO World Tour. The next game in that series was WCW. Then they THQ got the license to the WWF and made WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy was their last one with Aki, I believe. And then Aki went on to make wrestling games. But honestly, I think WrestleMania 2000. I know a lot of people love No Mercy, and I like Mercy a lot. WrestleMania 2000 is my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I have to
It
agree
just-
with you on that. WrestleMania 2000 is a pretty decent wrestling game.
That was just that's a great era. And just like having entrances with music and Titantron video.
Yep.
And the story mode was amazing. Like it had such versatility. Like you actually had to win the Royal Rumble to go to Mania, and it worked. And that was a hard feat.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the ones I have a special place in. I don't think they've really done much with wrestling license. Fire Pro series, if you're really into a kind of cult game, the Fire Pro Wrestling, which just came out on PlayStation 4, I think is my favorite modern wrestling game of the last 10, 20 years.
Wow. Okay.
Any other questions, statements, comments?
Nah, I think I'm good.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much
Yeah, we-
answered everything.
All
We
right.
covered all the bases today.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
did.
touched everything.
All right. So I want to thank you, Bandana Gamer, for coming on.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. Love this show and love getting to be a part of it.
We will welcome you back for more, I'm sure.
Love to. Anytime, my friend.
All right, everybody.
Awesome.
Thanks again, all of you, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
As
Yeah,
always,
man, had a great time again as usual.
Yeah, thanks.
As always, don't blow, just leave. Catch you later.
Hi, internet.
Peace.
Good night.